Final ending of Breaking the One, Part 1 down below. She says I'm a horrible, abusive father and I beat the kids. She will say that the kids didn't need their medicine. She outright lied in court already by saying that the kids didn't have asthma to begin with while I have proof otherwise. I've seen her in court. She says all kinds of crazy things. The judge doesn't seem to buy it. But also, she has an excuse for everything I put out as well. There is nothing I can do. She is court appointed, I just pay the bill. Do you see why I am frustrated by the legal process? I have spent $100,000 already fighting for these kids. Leaving the country is starting to look like a good option. The children's attorney did ask the court for a physiological evaluation, but nothing has happened. My kid's therapist also called and begged for her to do something, but nothing has happened. I am beside myself. I think the new attorney I may end up using is more of a Texas bulldog. I am almost out of money, but I know my wife is really out of money, so that may be some leverage. My WW will fold over if she were to know that there is a good chance I will get full custody. My best hope is the physiological evaluation, which she does not want. Every therapist that has seen her says it's obvious. She had meltdowns in front of the judge. The judge even sent her to timeout. She wants to take me for everything. That is true. Her anger though comes from hurt. She is deeply hurt that she feels that I don't care for her. Telling her she had an affair and could not see her boyfriend anymore. She cannot see how illogical this all is. If we get back to the basics, her taker is in charge because of her own hurt. Her hurt really comes from a disorder and I really believe that. She is a real person with real feelings and my heart melts for the pain she must be feeling. Just like an addict, she needs tough love. I am prepared to do that. I need the right attorney to do this and the one I had may not have been it. My wife does not want a divorce though. She wants to push me to see how far I will let her go run. She is testing me. If I do divorce her, she wants to be able to fight back, which is where the abuse stuff is likely coming from. This is what my gut is saying is the truth. I am reaching the limit though on what I am willing to put up with. She is a good mom at times and terrible at other times. She is pitching in around the house and she is even working part-time. I do see baby steps. She has quite dramatic mood swings. Unlike her, I do not split. She is not all good or all bad. I can't make her into this monster that I need to destroy. I will go to this lawyer and approach him and get some type of plan. I already know him and have consulted with him previously. He has both criminal and family law experience and has been in practice for a long time. He works on weekends. He thinks I am way too nice and he will want to tear her up. My point though is that her taker is in charge. I would like to see her give her comeback. It's just like the story of John and Sue in surviving an affair. Sue only came back because she had nowhere to go. Sue took the kids away from John. Sue kicked John out of his house. Her actions were deplorable. I too struggle with that. But by spending time with John, she came out of the fog. In my case, the OM is just someone to talk to, but my WW is so selfish, she will not end the relationship. This extreme selfishness is where the likely personality disorder comes in. Having a taker is normal, but being this far to the extreme is not normal. I need a really good lawyer to help protect me from her. I'm doing that. My WW is like having another 5-year-old child, but I need to outsmart her and be one step ahead. It's really sad to live this way. This is really a gray area. I think my wife is not completely a bad mom. The children still love her, although they are shifting towards building a stronger bond with dad more and more each day. The main problem with regard to abuse is that she is completely disrespectful to me in front of the kids. She completely uses the kids as her weapon against me. She also feels that she knows better what is best for the kids than me, doctors, teachers, the police, anyone else. She decided that the kids don't need their car seats anymore even though they still do by law. She decides that they don't really need their medicine. She decides if the teacher is right or wrong. In her mind, she is being a good mom and as such she knows best. I met with our marriage counselor yesterday and he thinks it is narcissism. Here is another story that I will give you, which falls in the gray area, and possibly, plan A is actually working. Last night my wife was having my older son read. That is really good. I wanted to listen and see how he was doing. At one point, he said, "Daddy, Mama is making me do something boring." I spoke, story of my life. To put this in context, just last weekend my wife made a comment that she missed my sarcasm. I'm too serious. I thought that comment was funny. I guess it was not. My wife said, "Fine, you read with him." So, I did. But she went and got into bed with her clothes on and pulled the covers over her head. I came in later and told her that I was sorry and that it must have hurt her feelings. Clearly, it did. She kind of got on the offensive and said that I was a bad father. The point is, I made a mistake by trying to be funny. But the more significant point is a couple things. Number one, in my opinion, my wife has no or very little emotional skin. She cannot handle any form of criticism. Number two, she must actually have some feelings still invested in how I think about her. If she simply hated me and was in withdrawal, I don't see how my sarcasm would have any effect on her. But at DID, she is looking and wanting me to prove that I do care about her. You can tell me if you think my joke was not funny or mean-spirited. It was not intended that way. And in all the years of our relationship history we could crack jokes and take little jabs at each other. She has indicated multiple times that she missed that, but my view is that she is really oversensitive right now because she is trying to figure out if I care about her. I went to the school yesterday and asked them to start documenting his coughing, especially after gym class. The girl knows about the problems. Doing nothing. I am going to visit his doctor too. I have an appointment with a new lawyer. The only way to take my son to the doctor is to pull him out of school in the middle of the day without my wife knowing, which I may have to do. If I get caught, she will start a physical fight with me to prevent me from taking him, the same way she would physically assault me if I tried to give him medicine at home. Let me see what the school comes up with in regard to his coughing. The problem is that the symptoms are worse when he gets up in the morning when only me and my wife are around. So, it's he said, she said. I still struggle to understand why she acts the way that she does. In some conversations she will say to me, "You take a pill every time there is something wrong. I don't want my kids growing up like that." She is usually okay about antibiotics, but for allergies and asthma, she is against it. I think that one of the reasons is that she does not have allergies or asthma herself. So, she does not empathize with the suffering. I do. So, I can empathize with them. In general, my wife is not really able to have or show any real empathy, which I think is part of her personality disorder. If I come home from work with a cold or something, she is horribly offended. I am lazy, I am in a bad mood, and I don't care about my family is how she typically perceives things. If I am sick, my wife will hit me, then claim I hit her. She yells at me and claims I yell at her. Everything she does is projected back onto me. She will pull the children away from me by the arm and then claim that I abuse the children by pulling their arm. I can only walk away from her when she gets violent. I just can't win. It is so hard to be a man getting abused by a woman because everyone assumes that I am the guilty one. I have played recordings of my wife raging at me for my attorney, but she will not use it. My wife claims that I abuse her by recording her. My wife has an affair, but my attorney says that I may lose custody of the kids because I told them about it. Everything is so backwards. She usually doesn't hit me very hard. It just sets a bad example for the children. I cannot call the police because she will just say that I hit her. Then I go to jail. Only once, she really hurt me and split my lip. I was being a jerk and deserved it that time, so I did not call. She will pull on the kids though, like tug of war. I don't want the kids to get hurt or caught in between, so I just walk away. She is a master at controlling me through physical threats and claiming abuse if I fight back. I have talked to the police. Unless there is blood, broken bones, etc., they don't do anything. What if I file a civil lawsuit requesting an injunction to give my son his medicine? I feel like I created this monster by enabling this behavior over the years, up until the time she left and I got third-party help. I didn't know. I was gaslighted into thinking that I was the bad guy, abuser, etc. I finally put my foot down when she had an affair and she went berserk, and the rest is history. I think everyone is afraid of her though. I never knew I married a woman that could instill so much fear in people. She was so nice and sweet when I met her. I thought she was a saint. I do think I need a good lawyer that can play hardball with her, take some calculated risks, and put her on the defensive. My current attorney played very calm, caught her on a few lies, but mostly played defense. I am scared of her, yes. I should be. She is a dangerous woman. She can easily have me put in jail. She almost killed the entire family on the road. She crashed into my car twice when it was parked. She filed a false restraining order. Of course, I am scared of her. What is the next crazy thing she is going to do that will cost me $25,000 in legal fees, cause me property damage, or make me lose my job and health insurance? Think of it this way. If try to get my son his inhaler lands me in jail, then what good am I to him? I will lose custody and more. This is a lot harder than you make it out to be. I'm trying to maintain a full-time job on top of all this, and I am the only one that supports the family. It's not that easy for me to play full-time spy games at the same time. I can wear a camera, but she will likely find it. I usually wear jeans and a t-shirt at home, and cowboy boots. I'm 6 feet. I ain't scared of anyone, but my wife terrifies me. My attorney would not use the audio in court. I think she felt it would backfire for making me look like an abuser for recording her. I have been online and found a few ideas for a hidden camera. You need to keep in mind, between my wife and the kids, they will put their hands in my pockets all ready to take my cell phone away from me. Yes, my wife has done this a few times to go through my cell phone. So, I can't wear a camera without it being found. My wife won't get physical with me if I do what she wants me to do. Also, she won't just hit me out of the blue unless I say something offensive. I haven't been doing anything to provoke her. If I forced my son to take his medication, she would surely come assault me without question. If I call the police, she will surely tell them that I was hurting the child. That's how it would go down. The police will probably not arrest anyone without obvious injuries, but they will make one of us leave the house. Which one do you think that would be? Seriously, unless she causes serious injury to me, calling the police is a bad option. I will discuss that with my attorney though. I did call the police on her once already. She told the police that I was abusing the children. The police saw no evidence of that. I had paperwork that she was not supposed to be at the house, and that's all that saved me. Let me talk to that new attorney first. I'm not trying to save my own skin, but if I go to jail or lose custody over my children over an inhaler fight, what good am I to them? Keeping myself in their lives as much as possible is my #1 priority. When the police come, she will lie and say that I assaulted her. One of us gets hauled away. Who will the police believe? The man or the woman? Let's be real, folks. You are going to get me thrown in jail, or at the very least thrown out of my house. I am not making excuses, but the woman gets the benefit of the doubt. That is the hard fact here. If I had done what my wife did, I would not be seeing my children right now. I would be in jail, or at least making huge support payments for her while not being allowed to see my kids unsupervised. Just an observation to give more of a picture of what is going on. Last night, my wife was a good mom. She read with my son again, she folded laundry while I played checkers with the kids, etc. She let them stay up a bit too late, so I fell asleep before they did, and I don't know what happened after that. If they made it to their own beds or not. Other times, i.e., last weekend, I noticed that she began to feel stressed. There was somewhere we needed to be at time-wise. We just weren't going to get there in time. She started raging. She drove the car recklessly, and it was like walking on eggshells with her all day. She started berating me for putting cotton balls in the wrong place or using the wrong utensil on the grill. Inappropriate anger and rage for the situation. The kids started acting up, no surprise, so she would yell at them, then blame me for causing their behavior. Others who have observed her have said that this is bipolar disorder. My marriage counselor thinks she has narcissistic personality disorder. I think she had borderline personality disorder. The symptoms do seem similar to what he describes as withdrawal, which could be what is going on. There were signs of this kind of behavior even on our wedding day, before the affair, but never this bad. The problem with the medication for my kids is this: parents have a right to determine whether their kids should take a medicine unless something becomes life-threatening. My wife does not want my kids taking allergy medicine or asthma medicine. I do want them taking it. We disagree. Legally, she has a right and I have a right. Because I am terrified of her and she can cause so much damage to me, she wins. I am trying to do everything I can to build and document a case for my son to take his medication. I think it is okay to question doctors and get a second opinion, etc. I think that my wife sees me as an evil monster, so anything I do, she views as bad. I am vilified for taking the kids to church, for example. The more I want the kids to take their medicine, the more she will oppose it. This is not a function of her getting a second opinion. I believe that this is narcissism. She is right and will not listen to any opposing viewpoint. It's cognitive dissonance, which means that facts that oppose her viewpoint are ignored. So, for example, when my son is coughing, she will say, "No, he is not coughing." Then he coughs again. I say, "What was that?" She is silent. It is dissonance and her mind cannot resolve it. My car is parked in the driveway. She crashes into it. In her mind and verbally she says, "I am a good driver. I did not crash into my husband's car, or it was not my fault." The next weekend, like clockwork, she crashes into it again. The fact is that there is a parked car there and she completely ignores that fact. This is someone with severe mental illness and I cannot get her to get help. There is a small chance it is withdrawal. If it were withdrawal, it would go away. But if she refuses to completely end contact, then the withdrawal will not go away. I am really struggling with what to do about the mental illness aspect. I really just wish I knew what was causing all this. She is really scary though, because she does the persona of the victim really well. The time the police came out, the female officer had to take my son from mom's arms and give him to me. She asked me if I would allow my wife to take my son for the night. I said sorry, but no. It was clear that if I did not have the law on my side and the legal paperwork that the kids were to be in my custody that time, they would have sided with mom. I do think that when I interview the new attorney that he must be on call for me. He will know what we are up against and be willing to protect me. I also think that having this attorney who practices both criminal and family law may be what I need. I am creative about where I stash it, a bookshelf or wherever, but it's not on my person all the time so I don't catch everything. The point was that wearing a camera would be even more difficult. I am looking into options for that. I want to know what is causing this crazy behavior. The other thing that I can push for is a physiological evaluation through the courts. If I can get a diagnosis, that will really help to protect me. If this is wayward fog or constant withdrawal symptoms, but really sounds like a form of mental disorder, I just don't know if that can be diagnosed. She has shown progress, but really slow progress. At first, she filed a restraining order. She blocked my phone calls. She refused to even look at me or be in the same house as me. Now, she has unblocked my calls. We live together, talk, and do family activities. These are signs of improvement. But because I spend more time with her, I notice the bizarre behaviors more. Blaming, extreme angry rages, regression of the children, mood swings, controlling behaviors, physical aggression. Firstly, I do have written instructions from the doctor's office. The treatment plan, etc. It pretty standardized. Secondly, I went to the school and asked to talk to the principal. She wasn't there, but I worked my way down the line and talked to the school nurse. I talked to her at length about the asthma. She gave me a form to get signed by the doctor, which I am doing, which gives the school permission to give him the rescue inhaler. She would not give him the preventive inhaler since that should be done at home. She basically said that if my wife wouldn't allow him to have it. That is sad, but I must get her to agree to do it at home. The school wouldn't do it. I asked her to check on him after every gym class and to document any problems he was having and send letters home and also call me. My son's doctor isn't an alarmist by his asthma. This really comes down to my opinion that my son should take his inhalers and my wife's opinion that he should not. My only two options are to convince her or to get sole custody, which I can't really do right now, of the children so I can make the decisions for them. I think that I am the better parent and can better make decisions for my children's well-being. She thinks that she is the better parent. My wife does not and cannot negotiate. I am so sorry for my kids that they were born to this mother who is not looking out for their best interests. I am doing everything that I can for them. So, this weekend, we went to another house in the neighborhood for the kids to play. I thought that given that it was Saturday, other dads would be there. On top of that, I try not to have my WW go anywhere alone unless I really have to. I was wrong though. Only other moms were there. I could see in my WW's eyes that she was angry. I was friendly and talked to them, but my WW wanted nothing to do with me and she made one really nasty comment to me. The next day, we were talking about a children's movie and she made comments about me seeing it with another woman and her son. Completely untrue. She acts and talks like I'm having the affair and she isn't. Has this ever happened before? How do I respond to this in plan A? Basically, he didn't really know what was going on with my wife and the Was she in love with him? He wanted to figure out what is behind her behavior. Possibly that she feels that I do not care for her, which is making her extremely angry and behaving erratically. The solution is for us to give each other 15 hours of undivided attention to deposit love units and make her feel cared for. We live together, are parenting our kids, and I am supporting her. She absolutely refuses to have lunch with me, grab a coffee, go out for dinner, or anything where the two of us would be alone. What gives? I'm not demanding that she fall in love with me instantly, but just have a cup of coffee. Come on. Who would refuse a cup of coffee with the person putting food on your table? She has said to me, why would I want to spend time with someone that doesn't give me all their money or other things that I ask for? It's completely absurd the excuses she comes up with. She says I have treated her badly for 14 years. I say 6 of the 14 years were before we got married. How do you marry someone that treats you badly for 6 years? She responds, love is blind. This sounds very similar to the but I'm not in love with you line, which is almost always the sign of an affair. She also gets very uncomfortable if I sit next to her on the couch or something like that. To me, these are telltale signs of an affair, not someone that simply feels uncared for. But I'm really struggling to find any signs that this affair is ongoing. I can account for most of her time, most of the people she is texting with. When I do get a glimpse of her phone, I don't see the man in the top 5 or so. She is being less secretive about using her phone, although she doesn't let me really have access to it. Are there any other explanations for this behavior other than an affair? Could this be withdrawal behavior, even though it has likely been more than 3 months since her and the were together? Another thing she is doing is feeling very entitled. She opens my mail. When I ordered new checks in my name, she picks up my cell phone and goes through it. She takes my debit card and refuses to give it back to me so she can shop online, etc. She is very bold about crossing boundaries with me and doing things regardless of how I feel. I asked if the truth was that she just didn't want to be in a good marriage like that. She basically said, no, I just can't be a good wife to you. I just don't know what is going on in her head. I said it is clear that you don't love me, but I still don't know what your goal is. Is the going to move here to be with you? No. Are you going to move them? No. How are you going to support yourself? Same as I do now. She makes $100 a week. She asked, will you give me some money to buy food for the kids when they are with me? I said yes. I said, you want a divorce? I don't want one, but I'll give it to you. If you want a divorce, I can no longer care for you. She said that she thought would always care for each other. I said no. I said that you really need to go find a place to live. Do you have a plan for that? No. I really don't know what to do. She really seems intent on being divorced, but she seems to have no plan. What do I want? It is to build a great marriage with her or someone else if not her. I want my kids to have the gift of 2 parents. I also don't know if I can continue to take the pain and suffering she is putting me through. Plan B means she needs to move out. Plan A means I take care of her best I can and meet her needs. She wants a divorce, but still want me to meet needs for financial support and family commitment. If I meet her needs and she have the freedom she wants, she has the best of both worlds. What incentive would she ever have to work on our marriage? If my wife is a stay-at-home mom and she feels trapped, or controlled, or not enough access to money, etc., she is just miserable. Why would the solution not be to just say, honey, I'd like to go back to work? I'd say, thank God. How can I help you? I'm not some mean jerk who wants to control her or abuse her in any way. In fact, all I have tried to do is support her in what would make her happy, but I just fail miserably at understanding her perspective. Even if she wanted to continue to stay at home but have more control over the finances, I have said sure. Let's work on it together, but then she just goes off and we never talk again. Just yesterday I said, do you want my entire paycheck? Let me just give it to you and we'll see if that makes you happier. She said, that would have been nice 4 years ago. To me it feels like she wants to blame me for all her suffering and unhappiness, but she doesn't really want me to help solve the problem. I am in a perpetual no-win scenario. Over time, it just becomes so illogical and so fruitless to try to make her happy, I give up. I let her rant, but then never do anything because she never follows through. She seems to have a hard time expressing her feelings. But she can express that a particular thing is bothering her, but she is unwilling to actually work with me on the solution. When I say she never follows through, I mean I could follow through and give her my entire paycheck, but it would then just sit there. She won't pay the mortgage or the bills or do anything with it. She won't sit down with me to go over things, so I just have to put things back the way they were. She will just say she is too busy to do it, but blame me for being controlling with the money. Do you see how I feel that I get put in this no-win situation? What am I doing wrong? What seems to me is that she has picked this lifestyle and had this fantasy about happy she would be, and she wanted the best of all worlds. Stay-at-home mom, but have tons of money, go to the beach every day, have complete feeling of independence, etc. That's kind of how life was set up for her in our prior state. But the real world is really not like that. She seems to want to blame me for all her unhappiness. The kids have picked it up as well. And at a time yesterday all 3 of them were unhappy. This computer wasn't working, the TV was getting the show one of them wanted, my wife wanted her own show to come in somewhere else. They were all blaming me, pulling my arms, hitting me, and saying, I hate you. Solve this problem for me. I told them I was about to have a meltdown and they all needed to just stop or I would need to leave the house. Prior to marriage she was a hard worker. She did want to stay home, but she was also willing to do the home economics thing and make some sacrifices to do so. It's true that I did not put as much value in what she was doing. I would come home to the house a mess, kids running wild, bounce checks, etc. when she left, and I was alone with the kids. I worked full-time, took care of the kids, they were happier, more well-behaved. The house was cleaner, my spending was way down. It left me asking myself, what was she doing? I really want a partner in life and not someone that just wants to be a drain on me. Originally, when we first married, and before kids, she did feel like a partner. I sleep about 5 hours a night and she sleep about 10. I became heartbroken by how little she did and how poorly she has been raising the children. She does feel entitled to 100% of everything, not 50%. And I need to put in 200% to enable her to sit on the couch, watch TV, go to the beach, etc. I could never say this to her, but it did make it hard to treat her with as much respect as I probably could have. All I asked for was an equal partner in life, but I feel like I got a spoiled teenager instead. I know asking her to work is a bit much, but my view was that not working was more of a luxury than an entitlement. I was proud to be able to provide that life for her and happy that I was making her happy. Now, I am some kind of abusive monster for giving her this gift. My expectation before marriage is that we would work together as a team, neither sacrifice, but rather work together toward a mutual goal. Where did all this entitlement stuff come from? Oh, and I would bring it up. I would say, let's sit at the computer tonight and go over the finances. But she would always say she didn't have time because there is an important TV show on. She could only talk during the commercial. If the commercial is over mid-sentence, I get cut off mid-sentence and have to start over at the next commercial. I know it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but I have paid all the bills. We are together a lot and I am buying her things every time she asks, and taking her and the kids out to dinner several times a week. It all adds up. The real problem here is to restore this love. My wife never fell in love with me because I gave her all my money. But I did take care of her, I did spend all my time with her, and we were friends. The real problem is that all went away with the kids. We do almost nothing together, just the 2 of us. We just went out again tonight. We all had such a fun time. We are still having a lot of fun together, it's just that the kids are with us. The financial stuff didn't really start becoming a problem until after she stopped spending time with me for a while. Our relationship just needs love in it to grease the wheels, or every little thing turns into a major problem. I could give her my entire paycheck for a couple months. But ultimately, even if I don't, all the bills get paid, she gets everything she wants, and this is really not the main issue. It's not the reason we fell in love. When we first met and my wife worked, we had things in common. We could meet up after work and appreciate having someone to talk to. I really don't think it's the financial support that is the problem, but rather a symptom of us not being in love. She would not care about the money if we were in love. Her love bank is closed to me for some reason, despite how much fun we are having together, how great a dad I am, how many compliments I give her. It seems that this affair she had made her just put my love bank so far in the negative it's taking a heroic effort to claw my way back up. Basically now, I'm giving her everything she wants. I can really feel that I completely threw her off guard. When the next day after she asked for divorce, I woke up with a smile, took her and the kids out for dinner, and have gone on to cheerfully continue to do everything as a family. I told her I wasn't mad that she took our money, and if she runs out or needs anything, just let me know. I am trying really hard to stop lecturing. Relationship talks will do nothing good. I will keep going. When I kissed her forehead today, she leaned towards me to be kissed as if she knew it was coming instead of pulling away. I can feel some small number of deposits must be getting through. I also was looking at my wife's Facebook page. The pictures that she was posting 4 years ago were some pictures from our wedding. Except I was not in the pictures and the other man was in one of the pictures. How does that make me feel? I have been disregarded as her husband for years, I think, and this affair has probably been building much longer than maybe I realize. Who would post wedding pictures, but not include their husband in the picture? With regard to being out of work, I personally could never feel good about being dependent on someone else. In this way, I cannot relate at all to my wife. At a young age, I vowed to work hard and never be dependent. I would always have enough saved that even if I did lose my job, I would not be dependent. I could just never live that way. My mom made a comment to me. I have never met someone as happy to be dependent on someone else as your wife. She is just so different from me in this way, it will be hard for me to understand her perspective, so I don't really put myself in her shoes. I just can't. I would never put myself in that situation. In terms of having access to funds, if I were to try to put myself in my wife's shoes, I would think the following. My husband is too controlling with all the money. This has been going on for a long time and he is a big jerk. I found this other guy who really seems to care about me more, so eventually, I need to get away from this guy, my husband. My first step will be to go back to work part-time and start working on my skills. Eventually, I want to be independent and not living hand to mouth with this horrible jerk of a husband I have. Okay, now I have separated from my husband. Oh shoot, I forgot about this part about supporting myself. Well, he has the kids, I'm alone in this apartment. I'm going to go get whatever kind of job I can. Plus, it's boring just sitting at home all day doing nothing. Did any of this happen? No, my wife never even gave a thought about making herself independent so she could separate from me. Instead, her strategy was to play the victim with her mom, so her mom basically paid her bills for her. She didn't try to get a job. She went to the beach every day. A couple times, she got on an airplane, flew 200 miles, saw the kids for about 30 minutes, then raided the house for more beach towels. I am completely serious. This is exactly what happened. Can anyone really identify with my wife's behavior? This is why the judge seemed annoyed with her when he asked her what she had been doing. I think he basically shook his head. She will be extremely harsh and abusive to me. Eventually, I feel hurt and sad. My face might change. I might get quiet. I might leave and go to another room to just be sad and regain my composure. She will say, "Are you done throwing your tantrum? You are passive-aggressive. You need to say you are sorry for yelling at me." The thing is, I didn't yell. I might have said please stop, or that hurts me. But I did not yell and I did not have a tantrum. I was just hurt by her. She cannot see the part where she hurt me. She only sees the part where my happy disposition changes. She tells me that I am having an angry outburst or temper. Does anyone know why she sees it that way? What am I doing wrong? How could I react better to the hurtful things she does and speaks? Being angry, so what do I do? Walking away is an angry outburst. Being quiet is an angry outburst. Telling her to please stop is an angry outburst. So, okay, I can no longer do any of these things. But do I do? Should I take it with a smile? Maybe after really being hurt, I will just say, you look really nice today. I have kind of tried that and she accuses me of being sarcastic. Maybe I should just train myself to completely take it and have no reaction. Could you pass the potato chips? What do you think? What should I do? When she really attacks me hard, I feel that flight or fight response in my blood. I know that I need to take a deep breath, time out, etc., but I can't do any of these things without it being an angry outburst. So, what do I do? When she attacks me, I usually don't say please stop. This typically happens when she is abusing the children and I feel the need to protect them. I am in a no-win situation. Here is the conversation that we had. A, I give her all the money, then we run out of money and the bills can't all get paid. Services get just off, checks bounce. She is extremely upset and blames me. B, if that happens, she will say, I counted on you to protect us and manage this. C, I say, okay, I will protect us and manage the finances so we will be taken care of. In order to do that, here is all we can afford this month for you to spend and I can get all the other bills paid. D, she says you are too controlling with the money. I want all of it. E, I say fine. You can have access to all the money, but let's do this together so that we can get everything paid. Let's pay our bills together. F, she says, C, you don't care about me. G, okay, I will listen to you. How would you like to manage it? Please tell me what you think. H, no, you just don't care about me. We can't talk about this anymore. I am struggling. We are always together. So, if she even finds me in a room by myself, she will get offended. Why are you in this room? Why are you not with the family? When you are done with your tantrum, come back and clean your crap off the table. I can sneak out, but she notices that I am missing and that offends her. I also really think the affair is pretty much gone. But why would she give up all contact if she doesn't have to? She will have someone waiting in the wings when she needs him, so there is no reason on earth to give that up. After she was struggling with the kids, I said, sorry, the kids have given you so much trouble tonight. She said, yeah. You have a lot to be sorry about. I think she will not let love units get through, possibly because she blames me for everything and I must be punished. Not doing something I want her to do, like time together, is a great way to punish me. She also says that love is blind, so she has felt that she has made a horrible mistake being with me all these years because she was in love. She does not want to be in love with me because that would make her vulnerable to my horrible mistreatment of her. So, she may be trying to protect herself. It's hard to figure out exactly the reason why she is so guarded on one hand with her love bank, but also so attached to me on the other hand when it comes to doing things for her and the children. I am looking for ways to sneak in love deposits, strike up conversations, and empathize with her in regard to the troubles she is facing in her day. I assume that I should be doing this. Should I buy her flowers? Get her something nice for Christmas? Or is that just a weighted effort? Many weeks ago, she said that she would wear an old ring that she used to wear when we were engaged. Some of the stones had fallen off though, so I took it to the jeweler and had the stones replaced. She said that she did not like the new stones, so I have been back to the jeweler several times, and they just don't seem to be able to do anything to make her happy. I have picked up ring after one more round of modification but have not given it to her in fear that she will just reject it again. I also got her a new plain wedding band but also have not given it to her. My feeling now that she asked for divorce about a week ago, there is no point in bringing up the ring discussion. I suppose that if I gave her the rings, it would simply be her choice to wear them or not wear them at this point. I just highly doubt that she will. He brought up the divorce this morning. I told her that I see nowhere we can meet in the middle. I told my lawyer to cancel it. If she didn't, it was not my fault. I told her I am simply not going forward. If she wants to sue me and write up the proposals, then that's her prerogative. I gave her a hug. She tried to say to me, "Don't you deserve better than me? A nice Texas girl with big boobs. You know that you can do better than what I am giving you." It was hard to argue with her because she has been a horrible wife for the last year. I just said no. Let's just go get ready for the parade and have a great weekend. I'm really trying to do a good plan, but my WS is now totally taking advantage of me. I gave her all the money she asked for at the beginning of the month, and now she is asking me to buy her gas, groceries, everything. She asks me come along whenever she needs something bought for her, clothes, gifts, you name it, the car filled up, or she doesn't want to cook so I take her out to dinner, but otherwise she tries not to include me. What do I do now? I need to avoid fights at all costs, but I'm totally being taken advantage of. I'm basically taking money from my retirement account to pay for all she is asking for. Any idea how I can stay in plan A? I bought a new truck last year and she decided to just take it from me and doesn't let me drive it. Her car hasn't been driven in about 8 months and she makes me pay the insurance and registration on it as well. The truck needs some repairs and she is writing me to get it done ASAP again. I'm feeling totally taken advantage of. Basically, all I asked her was to park in the driveway for a couple days instead of the garage while there was a small fluid leak. She said, "What kind of man makes a woman park on the driveway? Fix it now." She is blatantly taking advantage of me, running the family into the ground, being extremely demanding, and extremely dishonest. I am actually starting to believe that she is possessed by Satan. I am getting to the point of hating her and my instinct wants me to fight, but my intelligence overrides it. I need to start saying simply "we can't afford it," etc. and be logical. I want to do that without withdrawing love units. I was thinking that when I am with her and pay for stuff, it deposits love units. When I am not with her and she is breaking, it doesn't withdraw because it will not be associated with me. She is very manipulative though. Now, I am in the situation where I gave her lots of money to buy food. It's all gone and she didn't buy any food. But now the kids need to eat, so I have to either go shopping or give her more. With her car bills and insurance, she follows me around with the bill or keeps me awake at night until I pay it. She literally forces me. If I still don't, she will take my checks or debit card. She won't actually forge my signature, but she'll take my debit card and use it online to pay if she has to. I asked her where all the money went and she said to buy presents. I said, "We did all the shopping together and we used my debit card." She spent $1,000 as apparently on top of that, which is impossible. I'm not a fool and I know that the reality is that she has the other apartment still, and that is where the money is most likely going. I met with several lawyers and they all say the same thing. In my state, the women get the kids. End of story. They will overlook all her erratic behavior because she is the mom. I can continue to fight her in court, but we are simply out of money. This leaves me with little choice but to stay in plan as long as possible before I would have to leave her and the kids. Let me ask this question though. If all this is wayward behavior, she will eventually come out of it. Dr. Harley says that affairs die a natural death and wayward fog always goes away eventually. This can't possibly go on forever, can it? I will put financial controls in place. I am very confused about what makes deposits and withdrawals, putting her on a strict allowance versus giving her all the freedom she wants. She has destroyed my feeling of love for her by withdrawing love units. But I still choose to love her as I promised to on the day we were married. We are supposed to love even our enemies. The motivation that I have to save this marriage are two things. Number one, she is the mother of my children, so I can never replace her. Number two, I am just a very determined person and I like to fix things. I have just determined that I want to fix this. My kids look to me to fix this, and they have literally asked me to fix it. I promised them I would do my best to fix it. Everyone I know, friends, family, coworkers, are telling me to divorce and move on. I know that I have the right to do it. My kids are not saying that though. They love their mom and want us both together, and I am listening to them. As far as my emotional needs being met, she is not really meeting my top intimate emotional needs, but she is someone to talk to at the end of the day. She does make dinner most nights. She does do laundry. Basic domestic support. She has gotten some new clothes and she looks attractive to me from time to time. So, there is something there. Sometimes it's also a very lonely and isolating feeling to be with her. I am putting myself through a lot, but I really do want to make sure I am the one that is convinced that I have done everything humanly possible to win her back. When she is in love, I think I can get her to do the program, but without being in love there is no chance. I am on this board not to be told to divorce her because I have everyone else in the world to tell me that. I want to make sure I have made nothing less than a heroic effort to save this. Also, I have started to work on my CV and talk about other places to live. A pending divorce does make it a little more complicated. Update: I had an angry outburst last night and I am proud of it. At least for now, until you all can give me some feedback that I did the wrong thing. My WW has been walking all over me. Last night she sat down with a bottle of wine and put a girlfriend's guide to divorce on the TV in our living room. I kindly asked her twice if we could watch something that we would both possibly enjoy together. She refused. I don't really know what this show is about, but I know the title and it's not something I want on in my house, living room. I also felt that it is time for me to stand up for our marriage. I stormed out, disconnected the cable outside and went for a walk. I felt a little bad, guilty for having this kind of outburst, but then I thought that showing some emotion in the act of standing up for our marriage is not wrong, and I should not feel bad about it. I came back to the house very calm and offered to her that we play a game together or something else. She said no, of course, but she was reading a book. I grabbed my Bible and sat there and read with her. Yes, I had an angry outburst, but I'm done with her walking all over me and I'm done with facilitating my marriage being ended by her. I did not make a demand. I did not imply any punishment. I simply asked that we watch something else. When she refused, I still did not make any threat. What I did do was take an action to not enable it. It's my house too, I am paying the bill, so I should not enable. I do not want to control, and I am setting the limit on myself, not her. The way I see limit setting is limits on what I am willing to do. I am paying for the TV. I don't have to. She is free to leave, go to a bar, go to a friend's house and watch her TV. She is even free to go have an affair. I cannot control any of that. I thought that is what he meant by control. I thought that if something deeply offended me that was in my house that I pay all the bills for, I could set my own limit on what I am willing to do. I see your point though about it seeming parent-child. I also thought it would seem uncaring of me if I didn't do it. I called my lawyer today about strategies to get her out of the house, and we are working on that. My comments feel like OP has fed up with her. Sometimes it's easier to kick her out instead of dealing with the BS. Now you can seek a woman who would respect you.